up till a couple of months ago, there was a very large alliance named the Band of Brothers. It was originally titled CCCP for the corporate ticker, well, the alliance ticker, but CCP pretty much pounced on that and took it out immediately. It originally stood for cookies, cake, cream, and pie. It's basically, yeah, it was basically sort of, we'll take your cookies, we'll take your cream, and we'll take your pie, sort of that sort of thing. That alone can pretty much just give you the sort of character of the standard Band of Brothers member. They started off not too long after the start of EVE, the actual release, maybe a year or two after the initial release, I'll have to check, as the Reikoku Corporation. And these people were basically the PvP elite on a very small scale, small PvP, sort of like what we're doing in the Alliance right now.
Just like 10 ship groups, that type of thing, small stuff?
Yeah, 5 to 10 ship groups, all fitted with Tech 2, all on Ventura, all basically knowing what they're doing. And when you get something like that, it's very, very effective. Yeah, you're gonna have to relog there, mate. Nothing you can do about that except relog. Pretty much at this point, it's not as... They start putting up pause towers all over the place, and they basically carve out their own little space. Now, the story goes pretty much somewhere along here. I don't know the exact details, because I haven't exactly read up on the entirety of BoB history. But, the Band of Brothers is not exactly the very nicey type of people. They sort of think them as, Soviet Russia, I suppose.
If they can kill it and get away with it, they kill it.
Pretty much. Except they are very, very pompous. They, you know, it's like, we're here, there's nothing you can do about it now, you might as well just stand still as we call in our Dread Fleet to kill you. You could probably imagine that this doesn't fit well with some people, and they declare war on BoB. Or BoB declares war on them and tries to take their cookies, cream, cake, and pie.
Got it.
Eventually, one of these little scuffles turns into what is known rather fondly by EVE veterans as the First Great War of the North. I don't remember exactly who it is between, but about every year to every 2 years, there's a Great War in EVE, which basically involves 2 or 3 factions based on alliances that have basically agreed to fight with each other. I believe the last Great War was between the now deceased Mercenary Coalition, Goon Swarm, Band of Brothers, Triumvirate, Imperial Republic of the North, and a whole bunch of other people. Basically fighting all over the universe in 0.0. Eventually, Band of Brothers took over a space in the lower east portion of the map, I believe. It was called Delve, because that was the actual regional name for it. So Delve Space became BoB Space, and their central base, about the time of it was pretty much a race between all of the major alliances to get these first. And by this time, BoB was either the biggest or definitely one of the biggest empires out of, well, yeah, I guess you could call them an empires out there. Goon Swarm hadn't yet been founded. I believe MOO. I don't remember what exactly their name was. It's before my time. I think they were still around. They were basically the first empire of Eve. So pretty much a few months after, I believe, don't quote me on it, soon after this expansion comes out, that basically brings out the Titans and the Super Capitals, another great war starts. This is when you start getting into the history of the Band of Brothers that is publicly known as Band of Brothers Black Years, where they start going into very sneaky, very metagaming moves in order to win. One of the cases they did was they were in a war with another alliance. I believe this was in the Great War, but I'm not entirely sure. They actually had one of their members go to Titan pilot's house, an enemy Titan pilot's house, and when the battle started, that included his Titan. The BoB member actually cut the power to the Titan pilot's house so that he couldn't get on.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I believe CCP reimbursed the Titan after that. I don't know exactly the legal ramifications of it, but you can probably bet that it was not good.
Vandalism at the least. Yep.
A little bit more down the line, when they started introducing Tech 2 stuff, it was a completely new, different system than it was today. Instead of a skill-based program where you basically work up to Tech 2 blueprints using experimentation, it worked basically on a lottery system, where you basically put in a whole bunch of time and effort trying to get something, and it was basically a random number generator, whether you get something useful or you don't. Somehow, and it was statistically possible, but somehow the Band of Brothers were just making an entire monopoly of Tech 2 gear and selling it on the market, and they were just raking in billions of ISK. And so CCP gets the idea, wait a minute, this can't be right. What's going on over here? And it turns out that the Band of Brothers actually got one of the CCP developers on their side, and he was making up out of thin air Tech 2 blueprints for them to use.
This does get pretty involved, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. His name was T20, and his entire thing was referred to as the T20 incident. And it is pretty much what made the entire community hate the Band of Brothers. Even the small Care Bear Empire goers began to hate Band of Brothers, even if they didn't have anything wrong with them. Now, this is about the part where we get into Goon Swarm, the rise of Goon Swarm, I think. I say again, do not quote me on this thing, I'm just going off of basic knowledge, this is far beyond my time. Goon Swarm is basically Nazi Germany. Now, I say that for a whole bunch of different reasons.